Good morning and peace be with you, Sir Reds Hieronimo Denver. We are here to report about a comparative study of teaching environments at public versus private schools. But before we proceed to our reporting, here are the objectives. Wait. Before that, let us have the group members of this reporting. Bustamante Danica, Dumlao Mariel, Lazaro Mariel, Macapagal Kimberly, Reyes Holy Francine, and Quiambao Jhean Mariel. Now let's move on to the objectives of this reporting. The objectives. First bullet, compare the organizational structure and leadership styles in the private and public elementary schools and how this influenced teachers' role and professional development. Second bullet, examine and construct the characteristics, learning needs, and support system for the students in private and public elementary schools, including classroom management and accommodations for special needs. And the last bullet, investigate the involvement and roles of parents and other stakeholders in both private and public elementary schools and how their participation impacts school programs and students' outcomes. Now let us have background and introduction about the schools that we research on. First is the introduction. Education is a fundamental right for every child that provides essential knowledge, values, and skills. Education in the Philippines consists of two types of school, which are the private schools and public schools. Moreover, teachers can work either public or private elementary schools. However, the requirements in these both sectors schools differ significantly. According to Match et al. 2018, the school environment of the public elementary schools are commonly overcrowded classrooms, and the resources are just limited, while private elementary schools are commonly incorporated with special educational philosophy that provide unique tradition and specialize in their educational goals in accordance with the Education Philippines 2017. Now let's see the backgrounds of two schools that we conducted. Background of the schools, the public school interviewed is the San Jose Elementary School. In the private is God's Love Children's Advancement Center for Private Schools. Now to talk about the organizational of public and private, here is Mariel Dumlao. Thank you.
Private and public schools organization. Teachers from both private and public schools defined organizational leadership within their institutions, while their viewpoints and points of view differed significantly. First, private schools have a leadership team composed of school directors, principals, department heads, and administrative staff, which emphasizes the significance of spirituality by stating teaching is a calling from God. It is a fulfilling task from the Lord. It reflects transformational leadership where the teacher is driven by the purpose and mission. While public schools follow a formal department of educational hierarchy led by principal, supported by master teachers, which promotes clarity and shared responsibility aligned with distributed leadership and depth school-based management or SBM framework. Second, private schools teachers focus on reflective practice and fostering a collaborative learning culture, while public schools teachers access formal professional development such as in-service training, webinars, and further studies, which is in line with DepEd's professional development framework. And lastly, private schools and public schools report a positive collaborative culture. However, public schools face challenges such as overwhelming administrative workload and limited resources. Although they both recognize that their workplaces were favorable, a known problem in public schools A known problem in public schools, while the private teacher mentions strong support from staff and leadership. Here's Miss Lazaro, Mariel, to present the private and public school students. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma'am Mariel. Now let's talk about the private and public schools students. Private and public school students. Private schools of GLCAC face behavioral challenges such as bullying and issues related to social media and gadget overuse, while public of School of Stage SGJES struggle with the large size class sizes with 40 students and limited teaching resources. Private school of GLCAC face bullying where students feel insecure, where students bully their classmates by physically or emotionally. When we say physically, it's either intentionally, while emotionally is verbally. Inside the classroom setting where students bully each other and they also been affected by social media use and gadget overuse where students don't have screen time limits, where students lessen screen time and do physical activities instead that relates in their learning. While the public schools of San Jose Elementary School struggle with large class sizes with 40 students and limited teaching resources, where the schools have the limited of classrooms and teachers to teach students and the limited resources that they used for their teachings, like textbooks and other learning materials. But both private and public school teachers recognize diverse learning styles, including visual, auditory, and kinesthetic, and use varied teaching strategies such as videos, quizzes, games, and group work to address them. Next. Private School of GLCAC assess students by questionnaires and parental interviews before preparing specialties, while public schools of San Jose Elementary School employ special education or SPED teachers and coordinate with education authorities for intervention. GLCAC gives parents or surveys or questionnaires from their interview students if the students have special needs, what they can suggest or they recommend to their parents on how they can prevent their children to behave. While the San Jose Elementary School PET teachers where it accommodates the need of special need students if needs of guidance or advice. The teachers coordinate with the division office to assess and support the teachers due to the limited lack of trained personnel on how to maintain or behave the students with special needs. Now, here is Ma'am Kimberly to talk about the parental of public and private. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma'am. Marielle, private and public school parent stakeholders. The first one is private schools. Private schools like God's Love Children Advancement Centered, our parents are actively involved in school activities while the public school parents are not just actively engaged. However, public school bridge this gap through home visits and text reminders. In private schools, parents are not seen just as stakeholders but as active parents in their children's education. They participate actively in school activities, attend meetings, and are involved in different programs, especially during grading periods in public school. In public schools, some parents are very active, but many less engaged, often because of work commitment or a lack of awareness of their role in education. To address this, public school teacher and administrators make effort to bridge the gap by conducting home visits, sending text reminder, and holding parents-teacher conference. The next one is private school engage the community through gift giving while the public school relies on partnership with barangay official, local business, and NGO. When it comes to community engagement, private school usually focus on activities like gift giving and other charitable acts of a way to involve the community and teach students the value of service. Public schools more on formal partnership with barangay official, local business, and non-government organization. These external stakeholders play a vital role in supporting programs such as Brigada Escuela, providing donation, and helping organize school activity. And for the last one, private school teacher emphasize spiritual development while public school teacher observes expectation are more varied. In terms of expectation, private school teachers play a strong emphasis on spiritual development, helping students grow not only academically but also morally and spiritually. They teach students know and learn more of God and to become leaders and blessing to others. On the other hand, public teachers observe that expectations among parents are more varied. Some parents are very grateful for the free education provided, while others can be demanding despite the limited resources available in schools. Because of this, teachers in public school need extra patience and communication skills to meet the diverse expectation of their school community. Both of schools recognize the importance of parents and community stakeholders in shaping the educational experience of their students. But the approaches can differentiate depending on their mission, resources, and community. And may I call on Holy Francine to discuss private and public teachers. Thank you.
The private and public school teachers. So for the private and public school teachers, first, private school teachers had specific subjects and prepared lesson plans in advance, while public school teachers handled multiple classes and extended hours due to administrative tasks. We found that private school teachers focused on specific subjects and were able to prepare their lesson plans in advance, which made their workload more organized. In contrast, public school teachers had to handle multiple classes across different grade levels and often worked extended hours because of additional administrative tasks. For the second one, private school teachers engage in church ministry and international conferences, while public school teachers participated in school clubs, contests, and community programs. So when it comes to extracurricular activities, private school teachers were involved in church ministry and even attended international conferences, reflecting the faith-based nature of their school. Meanwhile, public school teachers took part in school clubs, contests, and community programs which, although rewarding, added to their already busy schedules. For the third one, private school teachers provided more private school teachers provided moral and financial support for graduate studies, while public school teachers had limited institutional support and often sourced classroom resources independently. So when it came to So in our study, we also found clear differences in the support system for teachers. Private school teachers receive strong moral and financial support from their school, especially for those pursuing graduate studies. Meanwhile, the public school teachers had limited institutional support and often had to find or fund classroom resources on their own. For the last one, private school teachers emphasize keeping pace with technology, while public school teachers cited high workload, limited resources, and lack of recognition. So when it came to professional challenges, private school teachers emphasized the need to keep up with technology to meet the demands of 21st century learning. In contrast, the public school teachers pointed out that the struggles of high workloads, limited resources, and sometimes a lack of recognition for their hard work, reflecting the heavier demands placed on them by their leadership and environment. So overall, private and public school teachers face different challenges shaped by their leadership, support systems, and work environments. So for the key insights of this comparative study, for the leadership style, for the leadership style, private schools operate within a faith-based community-oriented framework with strong emotional and moral support, while public schools follow a standardized Department of Education structure. So private schools lead with a community and faith-based approach, giving strong emotional and moral support to students. On the other hand, public schools follows a standardized system from Department of Education, focusing more on consistent rules and structures. And for professional development, private schools promote reflective practice and sponsor international faith-based trainings, while public schools offers structured inset and LAC sessions. Private schools support professional growth by encouraging reflective practice and sending teachers to international faith-based trainings. Meanwhile, public schools provide professional development through structured inset programs and regular LIC sessions under DepEd guidelines. Under DepEd guidelines. For the teacher workload, private school teachers have more manageable loads, allowing individualized instruction, while public school teachers handle large classes and significant non-teaching tasks limiting instructional focus. So private school teachers have lighter workload so they can focus more on each student, while the public school teachers, however, manage big classes and many extra tasks, making it harder to focus purely on the instruction. And for the parental and stakeholder, the private schools have consistent parental support grounded in shared values, while public schools rely on stakeholder partnerships and government programs like the Brigada Escuela. So in private school, parental support is consistent and based on shared values within the community. In public school, support mainly comes from stakeholders, partnerships, and government initiatives like the Brigada Escuela. And for the last one, the students and classroom management. Private school benefit from smaller classes and consistent parental involvement, enabling targeted strategies, while public school manage behavioral and socioeconomic challenges in larger classes. So the private schools teachers benefit from smaller class sizes and strong parental involvement. It allowing more targeted classroom management strategies. Public schools, on the other hand, deal with larger classes and manage both behavioral and socioeconomic challenges. And for the implication for future teachers, may I call Miss Danica. Miss Danica Jhean Bustamante.
Thank you, Ma'am Holly. Implications for future teachers. Next slide. We have 5 bullets. The first one is experiences differ between private and public schools. Teachers in public schools can have to deal with a varied student body with a range of needs, higher class size, and scarcer resources. On the other hand, private schools usually provide more resources, smaller class numbers, and more creative freedom in curriculum creation. Yet, they could cater to a more uniform or niche student group. The next one is the public school teachers need adaptability, resilience, and resourcefulness. The future teachers need to be equipped to deal with a variety of difficulties that are the public school system frequently presents. Teachers must be flexible in their teaching strategies in order to adjust lessons and procedures to fit various learning contexts and styles. The third one is private schools offer closer knit communities and administrative support, and it requires alignment with values. Private school position should be prepared for a different kind of school culture. Private school offer foster a more intimate and supportive environment, where relationship between staff, students, and parents are strong and communication is more direct. Private schools usually have specific missions, religious affiliations, or educational philosophies that shape their values and expectations. The next one is differentiated instruction is important in both learning environment. Differentiated instruction is essential in both physical and virtual classrooms because it helps meet the diverse needs of students by adapting teaching methods, contents, and learning activities to support all learners effectively. The last one is building relationship with parents and stakeholders is important for student success. Building relationship with parents and stakeholders supports student success by fostering trust, collaboration, and a strong support system that enhances learning and development. Next slide. The next one is the recommendations. The first one is for teachers. Continuous professional development, collaboration, and support networks. In this, teachers grow and improve. In continuous professional development, it is ongoing training and learning to keep up with new teaching methods. And in collaboration, teachers working together, sharing ideas, and learning from each other. And in support network, in this, it refers to the system of people and resources that help teachers handle challenges and succeed in their roles. The next one is for schools. Structured mentorship, material, and emotional support. In this, it emphasizes the essential elements schools should provide to ensure teacher effectiveness and well-being. Structured mentorship helps guide new or struggling teachers through professional growth with the support of experienced mentors. Together, these supports help create a stable and nurturing environment that benefits both educators and students. The third one is the policymakers. Reduce non-teaching workload, allocate administrative tasks. By implementing these changes, policymakers can help us improve teacher effectiveness, job satisfaction, and ultimately students' learning outcomes. Next one. The fourth one is for parents and stakeholders. Strengthen communication and form teacher stakeholders councils. Strengthen communication with parents and stakeholders through regular updates and open dialogues, and empower teacher councils by involving them in a decision making. The last one is the fourth teacher education program. Incorporate real-world exposure to both public and private school environment. By exposing teacher candidates to the diverse teaching environments, challenges, and student needs in each type of school, they can develop a broader understanding of educational practices and adapt more effectively to various teaching contexts. Before we end our discussion for our reporting for today, and that's all for our reporting. I hope you learned a lot from us. Thank you. Thank you.